So even before the Speaker could take the head count, Esikado Ketan MP Joe Gatti sought to arrest the process, citing some conflict with the standing orders.
We cannot be voting on the budget statement because the budget is defined by the standing orders as the estimates, and expenditure of the government in respect of each financial year. And we cannot vote on it because we have not even yet finished discussing it. It is merely a procedure vote, or it is not at all.
The Speaker will have none of that.
The Honorable Joe Gatti simply sought my guidance. And I'm entitled to listen to you or not to listen to you in guiding him. I decided to listen to you. But this decision doesn't open up this matter for debate. I think it's something that we will debate later on. But for today, the hairs will have to be counted.
Even the attempt to have the MPs stand up to be counted, the majority leader of Seche Mensah Bonsu challenged the Speaker.
I disagree with this interpretation and must emphasize it. I strongly disagree. However, knowing that you want to stick to your position, I will surrender. Let's do the head count. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. Let's do it.
The Speaker, Alban Sumana Bagbin, will not countenance any maneuvering.
Majority leader, don't give the impression that this is the first time this is being done. We have done this a number of times on this floor. Please, please, please. We have done this a number of times.
Then the clerks carefully proceeded to count the heads.
At the end of the head count, ayes 138, noes 136, absent 1. Honorable members, the ayes have it.
Ken Oforiatta can now heave a sigh of relief after crossing the first hurdle. But the Asi North MP, James Jachi-Quison, failed to turn up, thwarting the efforts of the minority to arrest the approval of the budget. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
And Komla Kluche, our parliamentary correspondent, joins us via Zoom. Thank you so much for your time, Komla. The budget has now been approved. What next?
Well, Ken Oforiatta would now have to convince both sides of the House, regarding the estimates or what we call the appropriation for various sectors. Herein, a lot of work would be done by the various committees. Now, what it means is that if you take all the sectors, there's a classification under all the committees. So, for instance, if it had to do with roads, that would go under the Committee for Roads and Transport. If it has to do with the Ministry of Finance, it will also go under the Finance Committee. And all the various ministers, MMDs, allocations would have to be justified. And herein, they will have to appear before the committee, looking at the estimates, they justify it. And if it's justified, the committee would come back to the floor and they present the report. The chairman of the committee would have to give a report to the plenary and the House will take a decision on it. This is quite a laborious one. But between now till the House will rise in about 2 weeks, they will have to do this. And there's a lot of work that has to be done. Is the more reason why the House even sits now on Mondays. There's the talk about them even sitting at the weekends because they are racing against time to be able to get this done. And it's not just the only item, even though this is a budget meeting, it's not the only item. There are other things that will be dealt with as well.
Komla, can you give us update on the anti-LGBTQ bill as well as the import restriction bill?
Well, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Suman Bagbin, says the First Deputy Speaker erred by adjourning Parliament on Wednesday, citing the unavailability of the chairman of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee to take the consideration stage of the anti-LGBT bill. You will recall yesterday we reported on that, and there was a standoff between the sponsors of the bill and the leadership of the House, especially that of the majority side, where accusations were thrown, especially by Sam John. Even today, the majority came back fighting hard, refuting those allegations, indicating that if it becomes political as it is standing now, they will have absolutely no option than to stand against the passage of the bill. The Speaker has been speaking or reacting to this, and he's been very clear to indicate that the bill must be passed before the House will rise for the Christmas break. This was what the Speaker said a short while ago.
One, as you know, is a bill that has been pending for a long time. Yesterday, I thought you were going to take that bill. Unfortunately, I'm told that because the chairman of the committee was not available, my deputy speaker did not permit the bill to be taken. I take that as a decision made in error, because the absence of the chairman of the committee cannot prevent the House from considering the bill. We have done it a number of times, and so it should not be referred to in future as a precedent. I think it was done in error. Whatever the situation, I know that nobody in this House is opposed to the bill, and that this bill will see the light of day before we rise. The people of Ghana are expecting us to pass the bill before we go on recess. Failure to do so will have some serious consequences on members as we want to advance in your political careers.
Yeah. Komla, quickly before you go, the import restrictions bill, what's the latest update with that?
Well, the government has suspended the laying of the bill. The Information Minister, Kojo Nkrumah, who spoke to journalists here in Parliament, said, well, concerns have come and they think that enough consultation also needs to be done. But we're also beginning to learn that there's actually more to it than just what the Minister of Information indicated, that they are suspending it. Well, we are not too sure, except to say that his justification was that there was a need for broader consultation on this because of the concerns that have been made. But the long and short of it is that the bill would not be laid, it's been suspended, and most probably when Parliament reconvenes after the Christmas break or the New Year break, they may attempt to lay that if it's even in their interest to do so. But for now, it's off the table till the House will rise for recess.
Thank you so much for your time. And Komla Kluche is our parliamentary correspondent.
Let's go on to some other stories now. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, has justified government's decision to grant a mining lease to Barari DV for the exploitation of Ghana's lithium resources in the central region. At a media briefing in Accra, the minister stated that the model applied by government is the best ever mining lease entered into by the country, with Ghanaians owning 30% of the resources.
Trade economics provides the global market price for lithium at $17,824 per ton. This green mineral is driving a global boom in battery production for digital devices and electric vehicles. Ghana has granted a lease to Barari DV to exploit lithium at the Ewoya concession in the central region. The transaction has been criticized as one that shortchanges the country. The government insists it is the best mining agreement ever reached in Ghana.
government has a free carried interest of 13%. MIF is participating at 6%. It works up to what? 19%. And therefore, you are right in saying that what happens to the 11%? The plan and the policy is that whatever participation beyond foreign participation should now be Ghanaian participation. The 19% is state participation, as you know. 13% obviously will be held by the state. So 19% is state participation. So the 11%, which then takes us to the minimum of 30%.
CEO of the Minerals Commission, Martin Acey, criticized the IEA's understanding of the whole structure of the deal.
When we had IE and co, you realize that we've thought through this already. So it's unfortunate when we gave them the document by email and we said, look, come sit with us. Let's have all the discussion, give you the policy bank and considerations. They didn't mind us. In their first encounter, they didn't read. And then when they heard us, they asked for the document, we gave it to them and said, invite us. They did not invite us. So their point was even one of the policy considerations at cabinet.
There have been concerns about the grant of a lease for the mining of lithium in a sacred forest in Winneba. The minister, however, denied this.
Let me very emphatically and without a shred of equivocation indicate that there is no mining lease in respect of Yenku Forest Reserve, which is where the abuachry takes place. There is just no mining lease. So anybody who claims that there is a mining lease covering Yenku Forest Reserve where abuachry takes place, with the greatest of respect, it's a figment of a person's imagination. It's not correct, it's not true. And you can check that, you can verify that from the Minerals Commission.
Let's dwell on this particular issue. Joining us for a conversation on it is Dr. John Kwachi, Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs. Doc, good evening. Thank you for your time. Hello, Doc. Good evening. If you can hear me, we thank you for making time to speak to us on TV3.
Yes, I hope you can also hear me.
Loud and clear. Thank you. My first question will be that the Mineral Commission is accusing the IEA of not responding to an invitation to, discuss further this lithium mining lease. Is that the case? Did you get their invitation and not honor it?
To be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, we have not received any such invitation. But if anything at all, we have even been trying to bring the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Ayusi, rather to IEA. We have communicated with him, to bring him over to engage with him on this contract. But as far as they inviting us, I'm not aware of any such invitation.
Right. Okay, so let's go to the meat of the subject, which is that the minister insists that the 30% Ghana is getting is the best we could get, and it compares much more favorably to other countries, including Chile, Australia, and Zimbabwe, etc. Does the IEA agree to this, considering the fact that even when it comes to gold, the lithium mining agreement and the percentage we are getting is far better?
Please. If you people make the argument that you are getting something today and it's better than something you got tomorrow, you got yesterday, I have a problem. What are you comparing? If you take an examination and you score 30%, you have failed. Then you repeat the exam and you get 35%. Then you say, oh, it's better than the 30%. Haven't you still failed? So what are we comparing? Which two things are we comparing? Right. The fact that the current agreement, the terms are better than an agreement of yesterday, doesn't make it good enough. That's what we are saying.
Okay.
It may be better than previous ones, but it's still not good enough.
Okay, so Doc, is the concern of the IEA primarily just the percentage we are getting, or there is more to it?
Oh, certainly, there's more to it. We are saying that we don't want any more contracts based on concession. you know. And basically, what a concession contract means is that, you know, you allocate the land or the sea, wherever the mineral or the resource is located. You allocate it to a foreign company and you say, mine it, you know, extract it, and give me so much percent in royalty, so much percent in, they say, growth and sustainability fund, 1% development, community development, you know, fund, and so much in corporate tax. We are saying that we don't want that type of contract anymore in this country. You know, we don't want concession contracts. We want a contract whereby you contract the foreign company to mine your product, your mineral for you, you take ownership of it, and pay him for his costs, the company for their costs, plus a profit margin. That is the new trend, the modern way of contract. It's not, we don't want the old type. So, notwithstanding what the Minister and the Minerals Commission are saying, I heard Mr. Yusi, the CEO of Minerals Commission, saying that, oh, the 10% royalties is very good. If you ask for 20%, they may not, you won't get any company to come and mine your mineral.
Right.
We are telling Mr. Yusi that we don't even want 20%. We don't want 30% royalties. We want to take ownership of our mineral. So we are totally against what our stand is, a fundamental stand. We don't want concession contracts in this country anymore. We want contracts called the service contract. Okay? That's basically the difference between us and the Minerals Commission and then the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Land.
As though the current agreement is cast in stone, probably cast in lithium. What is the IEA's next line of action, if there is any?
Sorry, what was the question again?
I'm asking that what would the next line of action be, since you seem to disagree completely with government's stance?
Yeah, what we can do as a CSO is that we will mobilize as much a public opinion as possible in support of our cause. So we have started, you know, first we've gone to the public, we organized a press conference, and we will go on and speak with, you know, the clergy. Okay. We will go and speak with chiefs and the queen mothers. We will also try and sensitize the communities themselves where the mining is taking place. I mean, a salt pond, a Woya area. The 1%, you know, community development fund, which Mr. Iti has said will come to about $6 million, you know, a year, is nothing compared with the annual, you know, the amount that will be earned from the final product of even lithium carbonate. Okay. We are not going to batteries yet, of 24 billion that we estimated. Okay. Now, new figures that have come out will probably suggest that it is going to be much higher. Okay. So we are going to sensitize the Ghanaian public, you know, mobilize everybody in support of our argument.
Opposition. All right. Thank you so much. Dr. John Kwache, who is the Director of Research at the IEA, will be happy to also hear what your thoughts are on this subject on our various social media platforms.
Let's now get a reaction from the minority and the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. John Abdullahi Jinapor has described the lithium deal as illegal until ratified by Parliament. He made this observation at a media briefing in the House.
Article 268, and let me re-emphasize, Article 268 of the 1992 Constitution is explicit, and it states that any transaction, including but not limited to the application for a license to exploit a natural resource, requires prior parliamentary approval. On this note, I want to make it loud and clear and succinct and explicit that the agreement between the government of Ghana and Barari DV should be laid before Parliament without delay. And let me assure the people of Ghana that the minority would not let you down. We would scrutinize the agreement. We would not allow this agreement to be rushed through. We would seek the guidance, the involvement of civil society. We will speak to important personalities, including former Chief Justice, Justice Sophia Akufu, who has been vocal on this lithium agreement. The new order is lithium. Lithium is more profitable than gold. Lithium is more profitable than diamond. And the world order is moving to this green mineral. And so the minority would insist that Ghana benefits from this resource and that the terms and agreements, if they are not in the interest of Ghana, the minority would kick against that.
Ladies and gentlemen, now let's enter the Election Command Center. And a year by now, voting would have ended with rigorous sorting and counting of ballots, with some polling station results trickling in as millions around the country would have gone to the polls. Mawena Egbeta provides a detailed analysis of the country's political landscape 12 months prior to the 2024 general elections.
It will be characterized with dawn waits and long queues, with the over 15 million registered Ghanaian voters lining up to make a determination as to which party best serves the Ghana agenda for another 4 years. History beckons as to whether a new force could emerge, or the story of a second chance, or perhaps breaking the eight. The Umbrella Party, founders, some say, of the Fourth Republic, suffered its biggest defeat in 2016. It was a humbling reminder that the patience of the Ghanaian electorate is fast running thin. And so, from a more than 1 million votes difference in 2016, the NDC halved it while pushing the legislature into a hangwan. In 2024, they would be led by former President John Mahama, who is promising a financial revolution based on his economic policy.
And so if already one factory is doing it and others are not doing it, what we're saying is that we will give incentives for everybody who wants to run a 24-hour shift system to be able to do that, so that more young people can be employed.
The party is not relenting in a mission they believe is to rescue the country.
Leadership you can trust, the leadership that can do the work, a leadership that understands the work, leadership of experience, leadership that cares, leadership of vision.
But as the campaign struts on, the Electoral Commission's choice of the Ghana card for voter registration and its relation with the NDC remains a key concern for election watchers. It has led to significant bad blood between the NDC and the Electoral Commission. Development civil society groups fear could pose a danger for the integrity of the polls.
We have to, in the interim, do with the guarantor system till such time that every citizen who is qualified to cast the ballot has the national ID.
I still think that the burden is on the EC to reconstitute the IPAC. If they have to use some intermediaries to bridge that difference between themselves and particularly the NDC, one of Ghana's main political parties, I would encourage that they do it.
The NPP's target is fairly simple: break the eight.
What concerns us is to get back to the people, speak to them, let them understand where we are, let them appreciate our governance system, give them the alternative solutions that we have to where we are today. And I think that the people of Ghana will buy into that.
Central to that, of course, is who Dr. Bawumia picks as running mate, and whether the upcoming primaries in January for constituencies with sitting MPs will not expose any cracks. Beyond the NDC and NPP, there is the third force conversation to be had.
It is clear that in spite of all the efforts of these two dominant parties, Ghana is still unable to move beyond where we've been over these couple of decades.
A few more will spring up. The evidence speaks an undeniable truth. With the CPP in shambles again, other parties quiet and unengaged, The third force conversations may need to pause for a while.
We've also been speaking to potential young voters on what will influence their choices in the general elections a year from now. Christian Yali reports.
Ghana has witnessed a surge in young voters. Projections by the Ghana Statistical Service reveal persons aged between 18 and 34 who are eligible to vote will impact the outcome of the polls significantly. With a year to the electoral process, some youth and first-time voters say their decisions will be based on policies by the various parties.
I say youths, what's on my mind every day is unemployment. The rate of unemployment in the country is very high. And then considering the implementation of the free senior high school, we can see that it's going to double in the coming years. My vote is going to be based on a comparison between the candidates. That is how I am going to, what I'm going to look at before voting.
I never saw the essence to vote, like there was no zeal for me to vote. Not that I don't know the rights as a citizen to vote, but the zeal to vote wasn't there.
Out of Ghana's total registered voters, over 10 million are youth, a transformation that presents both opportunities and challenges for the country's political future. But some potential voters believe the current government has been unable to implement a lot of its policies.
Honestly, in 2020, I voted based on policies, and I can say that some of the policies have been fulfilled to some extent, but things are worse more than we expected it to be. As we are seeing it today, increasing taxes, huge rates of unemployment and so on. Things haven't been very smooth as we expected.
The rising interest and concerns by the youth yield vital lessons as the country prepares for next year's elections. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Accra.
Certainly, our Election Command Center. Stay with us until we know who the next government would be. Still to come on News 360, coastal communities are grappling with the escalating erosion which has been caused by rising sea levels. They have been tied, or these concerns have been tied to climate change. Details of this and more right after the break.
Let's now continue with the rest of our stories. And world leaders have gathered in Dubai to confront the pressing challenges of climate change amid a backdrop of record-breaking extreme weather events throughout the year. Godwin Asidiba reports that in Accra, coastal communities are grappling with escalating erosion caused by rising sea levels tied to climate change.
In Bebese, a coastal community in Accra, Ghana, a quiet battle unfolds against the encroaching sea, leaving residents anxious about the fate of their disappearing land. A house daringly perched on the cliff's edge, once belonging to 30-year-old Richard Beale and his family. Everything was fine until the sea decided it wanted a piece of their home, making things a bit wobbly.
Like this, when my room got broken, I was not having any money on me, so I have to go and beg someone to find a room. Many people have been homeless since this sea started breaking houses.
People living near the sea, like Mercy Langley-Lante, are scared that the sea might take away their homes. They live every day not knowing when it might happen.
Every day, around 5:30 to 6 p.m., the water creeps up close to my compound. The tides splash, making it impossible for us to even sit outside.
This year alone, Mercy spent more than 10,000 Ghana cedis buying rocks. She does this every year to build her own sea defense, trying to protect what is left of her structures from the waters that keep creeping up.
Some years back, there were quite a number of houses here, but all has been washed away by the rising waters. This building, which was a public toilet serving a number of people in this community, has also been broken down. Residents in this community now resort to relieving themselves in the sea intensifying the struggle against climate change.
Every year, Ghana loses about 2 meters of its coastline to coastal erosion. Shockingly, UNESCO reports that from 2005 to 2017, almost 40% of Ghana's coastal land disappeared due to this relentless force of nature. Hundreds of people in this community have already been displaced. Experts attribute the escalating coastal erosion in Ghana to the rising sea levels associated with climate change and the various human activities.
These young men you can see here are gathering sand, put it in the sack so that in the evening when the water rises to a certain level, it won't be able to pull down their structure over there that has almost been halfly eaten by the rising waters.
We have lost almost 2.5 houses, so I'm trying to save the rest before something else happens.
The government, grappling with the coastal erosion, initiated the construction of the sea defense walls. Unfortunately, the project hit a pause button due to insufficient funds. Experts suggest a shift towards more budget-friendly climate-adaptive measures as a crucial alternative for the country.
Mangroves, cultivation can help, manage, the sea level rise and the impact of the sea in communities. So maybe we could start doing those kind of engagement or interventions whilst we expect, government to take action.
Despite efforts, the promised interventions are distant dreams, and in the meantime, the relentless sea continues to erode the land. Residents fear that their community might vanish before any substantial change take place. Godwin Asedeba, TV3 News, Accra.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN, Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal.
Well, time now for business. Menu Aful is with us, and you're welcome, Menu.
Thank you, Martin.
What's happening in business is regarding import and exports?
Well, exporters are to face a jail term of up to 10 years if they fail to expatriate their proceeds under Bank of Ghana's commitment law. Okay. You have the details.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the business segment, and my name is Menu Aful. Straight to our first story. Exporters will be made to face sanctions, including payment of fines as well as imprisonment over non-compliance with the Bank of Ghana's letter of commitment, which requires that export proceeds are retained in the country. Deputy Director of Foreign Banking Operations at Bank of Ghana, Eric Hammond, made this known at the sensitization workshop on the central bank's letter of commitment requirement for the repatriation of export proceeds.
The legal framework of the Central Bank's Foreign Exchange Act 2006 requires that payments for merchandise exports from Ghana shall be made to the exporter's bank in the country. Failure to comply, the central bank says, will attract fines as well as jail term of up to 10 years imprisonment.
For Bank of Ghana, the LOC is the document that we need. And we need it first and foremost to help Bank of Ghana to monitor the export from Ghana so that we can enforce the law or ensure the repatriation of the export proceeds to Ghana. That is what the LOC is meant to do.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Shippers Authority has expressed commitment to educating shippers on pertinent policies that affect shipping locally and globally to remain competitive in the international market.
There's a committee known as the Intersectoral Committee. It comprises Bank of Ghana, Shippers Authority, Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Customs. What we need to, or what we seek to do, is to look at the process, the implementation, and then try to streamline it such that it will better serve the needs of exporters in Ghana. We also want to use the documents that will come out of the sensitization workshop as a working document to help us.
Well, away from that, the Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Selom Adadivo, has emphasized the importance of integrating technology into local businesses for optimal results. He was speaking at the MTN Enterprise Business Awards to honor top-performing clients of the telecommunication company.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, Fidelity Bank, Church of Christ of Latter-day Saint, G4S, The American Embassy and eProcess were recognized for their commitment to the MTN brand and its service offerings.
We exist because of our customers, okay? So we want to show that appreciation through this program. It's a token to say that we appreciate their business, we appreciate their collaboration and partnership with MTN.
Chief Executive Officer of MTN Ghana, Selom Adadivo, commended client for being resolute amidst challenges and encouraged local businesses to adapt to emerging technologies for improved productivity and reduced operational costs.
One of the things that really occupies my mind when I think of 2024 is how we can continue to use technology to solve our core problems. That we use technology to reduce our operational overhead so that we can be more automated and we can do things with less effort. That saves us money and that helps us do more as we move forward and try to grow our businesses through 2024.
Acting Chief Enterprise Business Officer at MTN, Richard Densu, expressed satisfaction with 2023 and anticipates a more prosperous year ahead.
2023 is better than 2022. Okay, it's been a tough environment, but because we've worked together, we found a way to go through together with our customers. It's through the partnership that we are able to sail through the difficult environments and still continue with business.
Also, Harmony International School has been presented a check for 5,000 cedis after emerging winners of the 5th edition of the Fan Choco School Caravan. The program forms part of Fan Milk's commitment to promote good nutrition, health, and sanitation among families for sustainable community growth.
The 2022 edition of the Fan Choco School Caravan gave students the opportunity to collect wrappers and be rewarded for their efforts.
As a Danone company, we really believe that we have only one planet and we have one health. And it's our responsibility to look after it. So Fan Choco School Caravan is one of such programs that is designed to promote healthy snacking. You know, if you want to impact people's health, we have decided to do it through healthy food. We've been able to reach, and you heard it, collect 4 million sachets of the streets of Ghana. And I think we owe it to the students, we owe it to the teachers, and we owe it to the entire education system of Ghana.
Harmony International School won the ultimate prize.
When God created the universe, one instruction he gave to Adam and Eve that you are supposed to protect the environment. We all know the menace that this plastic waste is causing to the environment. And therefore, when this competition came up, I told them they should only think of the awards, but also they should know what they are doing. They are doing something to fulfill the commandment that God gave to human beings. So we should all get ourselves involved in ridding off our environment with this plastic waste.
Other participating schools received cash prizes, Samsung tablets, and souvenirs from Fan Milk. The Municipal Education Director for Krowo, Justina Jaba, commended the initiative in sensitizing school children on healthy snacking and proper waste management. 50 schools took part in the competition.
Well, that's it for the business segment here on News 360. My name is Minwa Fo. We have more stories lined up for you after the break. Don't go anywhere.
And Erosion is here with the latest in the world of sports, and the girls are back.
They are back,
Our
and they've
queens,
touched down.
yeah.
And of course, that's after they've qualified to
Okay.
the WAFCON. And of course, that will be where we will start the sports updates right here on News 360 with me, Thierry Nyan. And the Black Queens touched down from South Africa earlier today following their qualification to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations for the very first time since 2018 after defeating Namibia by 3-2 on aggregate. 3 Sports' Frank Echampong has more in this report.
The Black Queens were welcomed by happy fans today at the Kotoka International Airport in Accra. The players arrived with smiles, knowing they have made history. Head coach Nora Hoptel noted that her sacrifices so far with this group has not been in vain.
Yeah, I mean, you need to understand that first we all give a lot of sacrifices for this work. We adore this game, we adore to play for Mother Ghana. You get a lot of pressure, and once it's released, of course, then there are emotions. that's the beauty of our sports, that we can also share those emotions with the spectators, we in the team. And for me, it was a big release, big work. Yeah, I'm just done.
The team will now turn their attention to the 2024 Olympic Games qualifiers. Executive Council member Gifty Oware has revealed that preparations will begin in the shortest possible time.
As at last night, we had a long conversation with Nora. She's bringing us her proposals for February's matches right from tomorrow. So after the ESCO meeting, we'll be able to find a stretch of what exactly she wants to do and the plan she has for it. So for us, it's just a step at a time. So we are not crashing all the games together. We are just taking a step at a time. We have Zambia to win, and after we are able to qualify from Zambia, we may play either Algeria or Morocco. Any of them, I think by the time we play, we'll be ready to win.
Nora and her ladies have shown resilience and determination through their quest, and in 2024, they would have a chance to keep their mission voter agenda alive.
Now, Mediama Sporting Club are set to face Tanzanian side Young African on Friday at the Babaya Sports Stadium at 4 p.m. as they aim for their second victory in the CAF Champions League. Mediama head coach Evans Adote says he will not underrate his opponents on the day.
And two teams will qualify to the next round. So looking at the table, I can only say preparation is ongoing. I have respect for my opponent. Yanga is a team, I've met them before, I played them before, years back, 2016 if my memory serves me right. But encountering them this time around, I've observed them, well, they're a good side, I must say. The pitch tomorrow will decide as to who carries the day. But to me as a coach, once I need to come up there, I have to prepare well to make sure by close of the day, I'm up.
All right, now let's go abroad. And Santos, Brazil legend Pele's former club, have been relegated for the first time in their 111-year history. A 2-1 home defeat by Fortaleza in their final league match of the season meant they dropped out of the Serie A, Brazil's top flight. Santos won 12 state titles, 6 league titles, and 2 Copas Libertadores during their golden era of the 1950s and 60s. 3-time World Cup winner Pele died at the age of 82 last year. Santos, who also produced Brazil's record scorer, that's Neymar, have suffered financial problems in recent years. That's big in Brazil. And on that note, we bring an end to the sports here on News 360 with me, Thierry Nyan. Thanks for staying with us. Entertainment follows this one.